All right, superstars, we're going to do lesson 1.3, day 2. Really, we're just going to practice some more problems together. You finish what you can, and you submit it to Google Classroom. All right, so let's jump right into it. Continuation from day 1. Our goal, again, is to try and move the smallest variable. So if you notice, you got 11g and negative 5g. Whenever you have variables on both sides, my suggestion was to move the smallest one. Negative 5g is definitely smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and add 5g to both sides. So that gives me a negative 7 plus 16g is equal to 9. It looks okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and add 7 on both sides. So I've got 16g is equal to, well, this is going to be too easy. When I divide, I just get a nice answer of 1. Now, on this assignment, we will let you make the choice if you want to actually substitute and check your answer. If you feel comfortable just looking at your answer at the bottom, and if you got it correct, moving on, that's your choice, and we'll support that. If you want to practice using the true check method, because again, that's a really good test-taking strategy, do that. All right, let's try another one. All right, left side looks good. Right side, I need to use distributive property. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. And negative 3 times negative k is positive 3k. I have 24 subtract 6k. Now, this is the scenario that students will choose, quote unquote, the wrong variable to move. But in reality, it could work either way. So for example, I know that a negative is smaller than a positive, so I should technically move the negative 6k. Some students may just say, oh, I'm going to move the 3k by subtracting and bring it over here. You just got to be really careful with your negative signs if you do it that way. The strategy that I try showing you, which is always moving the smallest one, it should make it a little bit easier with your negative signs. Because again, I know that sometimes 8th graders go a little bit too fast when they complete their assignments and especially quizzes, and they make mistakes on those signs. So please be very careful. All right, so I'm going to move the 24 over here. All right, now it looks a little bit better. I'm going to add 12 both sides. So that gives me a 9k is equal to 36. Quick division. K is equal to 4. Double check on the bottom for problem number 6. 4, beautiful. Ooh, getting a little bit more challenging. All right, let's try the left side first. Negative sign times 8n. Remember, if you'd like to put a little 1 there, you can. So negative 1 times 8n is negative 8n. And negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2. Now, there's nothing else I can do on the left side, so on the right side, I'm going to go ahead and continue on. Some of you may say, oh, 3 plus 10 is 13, but remember, that's not allowed. That is not order of operations. So in other words, the 3 stays the same, but you got to distribute the 10. So 10 times 1 is 10, and 10 times negative 3n is negative 30n. All right, on the right side, you probably already noticed I need to combine my like terms. So it gives me a 13. All right, now it looks like the easier problems with variables on both sides. Again, my strategy is to move the smallest variable. I've got negative 8n and negative 30n, so I'm going to add 30n to both sides. All right, so I've got a 24n plus a 2 is equal to 13. All right, I'm double checking, seeing if I got something wrong here. Silly, it's not 24n. Ooh. Some of you are like, come on, Mr. Moreno. Even I knew that was 22n, not 24n. Hee hee. All right, subtract 2. So we've got 22n is equal to 11. This is going to look a lot better, even though we get a fractional answer of 1/2. Remember, fractions are okay. If you want to substitute and practice that check, by all means, go for it. All right, let's move on. We got a few more. Let's see, number 14. Ooh, bunch of numbers looking very similar. Let's see what's going on here. All right, -2 times 6 is -12. And -2 times 10m is -20m. 10 times 2m is 20m. 10 times -6 is -60. So let me just double check that. -2 times 6 is -12. -2 times 10m is -20m. 2 times 10m is 20m. 10 times -6 is -60. All right, looks pretty good. All right, move your smallest variable. So let's go ahead and add 20m, both sides. Notice how they do not disappear. Some students may accidentally cross them off and say, oh, it's nothing's going to work. No, it's 40m. We got to subtract 60, and this is -12. All right. Stretching out my back. Let's go ahead and move the -12 over here. So I now have a 40m subtract 60 equals -12. I'm going to go ahead and add 60 to both sides. So that gives me a 40m is equal to 60 subtract 12 is 48. Divide by 40. So even though the numbers are a little bit different than we're used to, we're going to continue on and realize, okay, we probably do have a fractional answer. Can I reduce this fraction? That would be a yes. I'd like you to think about, real quick, what can I divide both by? Now remember, if you reduce it but don't reduce it enough, or fully simplify it, or fully reduce it, you cannot get full credit if it was a quiz problem. So if you recognize that if I were to divide by 8, I would get a fractional answer of 6/5. And according to the bottom of the worksheet, on problem 14, 6/5 is correct. All right, two more. All right, 16 says, distributive property again. Maybe you want to do the right side first. 2 times 5b is 10b, and 2 times 1 is 2. Right side. Now, some students may forget how to do this. In 7th grade, we teach our students really two ways to do it. First way is to actually write it out. Maybe you saw this last year. So 3/2 multiplied by 24/1, and this would allow me to cross cancel. 2 becomes a 1, 24 becomes a 12, and 3 times 12 is a 36. The other way, of course, is multiplying and then dividing, but regardless, you want to get a 36. And I continue over here. I know it's going to be negative because positive times negative is negative. So if I'd like to, I can show work 3/2 times 8/1. And of course, it's going to have the variable. So 2 becomes a 1, 8 becomes a 4, so that's -12b. There we go. Okay, I've done distributive property. Don't need to combine any like terms. So I've got variables on both sides. I'm going to go ahead and move the smallest one, which is add 12b to both sides. So this gives me 36 is equal to 22b plus 2. If I need to, I go ahead and switch it over. Now, I do apologize. Sometimes that number 6 kind of looks like the letter B. But if you follow along, or if you'd like to, you can make it a capital B. Maybe that's easier for some students. So let's put 36 over here. Beautiful. Number 16, I'm going to glance. It looks like I'm doing pretty good. Subtract 2, both sides. So I've got a 22b is equal to a 34. And if I divide both sides by 22, I would write b is equal to, and I could divide both of them by 2 because they're even. And that should be my reduced because 17 and 11 are both prime. Now remember, multiple choice answers on Elluminate, pretty basic. If you had to type this in on Elluminate, you would write it as 17 fraction line, which is really a slash, / 11. But when you're writing it by hand, please make sure you have your normal traditional fraction line. All right, one more. Oh, look, the right side, it only has 12a. So I really got to concentrate on completing or simplifying the left side. So let's see, the 8a gets to stay the same. -4 times -5a, well, that's just going to be positive 20a. And then -4 multiplied by -2, that is positive 8. So if I combine like terms, I have 28a plus 8 is equal to 12a. Now again, I'm going to go ahead and suggest moving the smallest variable. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 12a from both sides. Line up my equal sign. So 28a subtract 12a is 16a. Now this is where some students make a little mistake. Keep working. It says plus 8. Now what's it equal to? 12 apples, subtract 12 apples, 0 apples. That 0 is a valid number there. Again, whatever the reason is, 8th graders with those zeros don't work them out right. Subtract 8. So I've got 16a is equal to -8. Divide by 16. So a is equal to -1/2. Beautiful. So again, you're going to continue on to try and finish your assignment and submit it to Google Classroom. All right, have a great day.